from the heart of mid-Missouri, this is KRCG News live at 5, because accuracy matters.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Teresa Snow.
And I'm Kate Lauman. Thanks for joining us. It's a day of reflection in Missouri and really across the nation as we remember those lost after the Joplin tornado.
At this hour, hundreds of people are marking the one-year anniversary with a special Unity Walk. This is a live look at Cunningham Park, which is where that walk is ending. People are slowly starting to trickle in after taking part in the 4-mile march. The route they followed is the same path this EF5 tornado took a year ago today. Cunningham Park is near the now hollowed-out shell of St. John's Hospital. In just a few minutes, a special program is set to begin in the park, followed by a moment of silence at 5:41, the exact time the tornado hit.
That twister packed 200-mile-per-hour winds, killing 161 people, leaving many others injured, and destroying a third of the city of Joplin. It is America's single deadliest tornado since records began 6 decades ago. Coming
up in our Joplin one-year anniversary team coverage, we continue with a word from Governor Nixon on honoring the community, new beginnings for the school district, and a tour of the damage with local Red Cross officials, and a special Joplin movie screening happening in mid-Missouri tonight.
First, though, let's take a look at what's happening locally with our weather.
Good evening. It has been another fabulous warm afternoon throughout mid-Missouri. Here's a live look at our Doppler radar. We have dry skies all across mid-Missouri, making it a beautiful afternoon. And temperatures right now, we are in the upper 70s, 77 in Columbia, 79 in the capital and the lake, with sunshine all across the area. We'll take a look at your upcoming Memorial Day weekend as well as your next chance for rain coming up next.
Thanks, Laura. The one-year anniversary remembrance kicked off in Joplin this morning with a memorial service at Freeman Hospital.
That's where hundreds of people sought help after the EF5 twister destroyed St. John's Hospital. In front of a crowd of medical workers, tornado survivors, and volunteers, Governor Jay Nixon stressed the importance of honoring those who have helped Joplin along the way.
Well, when this community needed, Freeman stood up. I mean, literally, as Paula said, as everybody in this community well knows, this hospital was already full when the tornado hit, but that didn't stop them from going the extra mile, literally reaching into the rubble to save lives. It's a very inspirational story of confidence in this healthcare system and in the people and their hearts behind it.
Several volunteers who helped a year ago made it back today for the anniversary.
And there was a celebration this morning as officials moved dirt at the site of the new Joplin Elementary School. It wasn't just community leaders and school officials who got to grab a shovel. The students who will attend that school helped to break ground. The new school will stand on the grounds of the old St. John's Hospital. The American Red Cross invited us to travel with them and to tour Joplin recently.
Through this trip, KRCG 13 Zach Paul shows us the sights of Joplin as it sits 1 year later.
Behind me stands St. John's Mercy Hospital, one of Joplin's iconic landmarks that was damaged in the tornado just 1 year ago. And all around this area, there's complete devastation. But today, all you hear is sounds of construction workers, nail guns. In fact, the sounds of Joplin rebuilding. On my trip with the Red Cross, you can still see what's left of St. John's Hospital. This was the first stop of our tour. It was also one of the first places hit by the massive tornado.
May 22nd, there was about 180 people here plus staff. They evacuated that entire facility in an hour and a half.
It was interesting to hear how the hospital was damaged as well.
The top 3 floors twisted by about 4 inches. So if you know anything about concrete and steel, it does a fine job up and down, not so much side to side.
The next stop was to the former site of Joplin High School. As you can see, the O and the P from Joplin were the only letters left on the sign after the tornado hit. Local residents added a few letters to encourage hope in the community. This is the temporary location of the high school where the 11th and 12th graders attend. It's inside the local mall. It's remarkable to see how this building was turned into a school. Our next location was to the site of an apartment complex where local Red Cross Executive Director Dave Griffith's niece once lived. Here he showed us the pictures of the damage, but once again the constant sounds of construction fill the air. One element you cannot forget is that natural disasters can dislocate people. We also went to the location of temporary housing provided by FEMA. Of the nearly 600 people that were originally relocated here, only 1/3 have moved on. These residents have about 6 months left to find a permanent home. Perhaps you recognize some of these homes. This street was featured on Extreme Makeover Home Edition. This was a bright spot of the tour, and it was here that you had a sense of lives returning to normal in a Midwest neighborhood. There has been significant progress in the past year, and the American Red Cross is a major part of this, but the rebuilding in Joplin has only begun. In Joplin, Missouri, Zach Paul, KRCG 13 News.
And speaking of rebuilding, there's an event going on tonight in Columbia where you can help Joplin's recovery efforts.
Our team coverage continues with KRCG 13's Daniel Wynn joining us live to explain. Daniel.
Hi, Teresa. Well, the weather nothing like it was this time last year. It's beautiful and sunny. We're in downtown Columbia. Over here behind me, you can see the Ragtag Cinema. Tonight, they're showing Joplin, a tornado story. A local man produced and directed that documentary. His name's Chip Gubera. He teaches at the university, but he and his father watched the devastation unfold last year on the news, just as most of us did, and he said that's when he knew he wanted to put his film background to good use.
I tried to paint the community in a three-dimensional way by showing the individuals and what a broad range of individuals went through.
Now, Gubera says the film is filled with first-hand accounts from both survivors and officials. He said the movie tonight that they're showing is just going to be at 5:30 and 6:30. There are two showings, and tickets are $8.50. Part of the proceeds will go to rebuildjoplin.org. Reporting live in downtown Columbia, Daniel Wynn, KRCG 13 News.
Thank you, Daniel. And our Joplin team coverage continues tonight at 6 o'clock. KRCG 13's Kermit Miller will introduce you to a family who went from Joplin to Jefferson City. We'll tell you how they've made mid-Missouri their home after surviving the storm.
And tonight at 10, a look at the Joplin High School and the students who have studied this year in a converted shopping center. Their old school is gone, but there are still reminders of the storm that will stay with them forever. Yeah, it really was picture-perfect weather here.
Yes.
Also picture-perfect in Florida for a historic mission there today.
Yes, the first privately funded spacecraft is now on its way to the International Space Station. SpaceX blasted off this morning from Cape Canaveral. It's carrying about 1,000 pounds of food and clothing. If all goes well, the rocket will reach the space station in a few days.
Well, we'll have a full look at your local news after the break, including information about an emergency heroin meeting in Columbia. Find out why police say a talk is needed now.
And it wasn't your ordinary show and tell. This one involved some special visitors. That's after the break on the KRCG 13 News, live at 5.